Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, and today we are taking a look at Grey Zone Warfare. So this game has really started to catch my attention recently. A lot of people think it's an extraction shooter, but actually it isn't. In fact, it's much more of a sandbox-like experience. The Steam page describes it as an immersive tactical FPS with a maximum focus on realism, set in an open world where you adapt to your surroundings and fight against other human operators and AI-controlled enemies. So it's a PvE-VP experience. Now, recently we've seen some raw gameplay footage which looked pretty amazing, but it was a fairly linear experience, showing them doing one specific quest called the Rat's Nest. However, just yesterday, Madfinger Games, that's the developer, they shared a couple of new videos with me and a bunch of other creators that really goes to show just how large and open the map is. So you've got 3 different factions to choose from here, 48 players to a server, and then you've got 16 players to each and every faction. So unlike an extraction shooter where you load up into a mission, you extract, and then you get booted back to the menu, in this game, you will stay playing in the same server. You pick up quests from your base camp, of which there are over 150 planned for the game, I believe, and then depending on the quest, you're tasked with going to a certain area of the map to accomplish your objectives before returning to your base camp. And that's where the beauty of this system comes in. The entire map is just one massive sandbox, and this game has very little handholding, which used to be the norm, but has become somewhat of a rarity, I would say, in today's games. You decide exactly how you want to accomplish your mission. Do you infiltrate via the little bird, or do you decide to take a more stealthy approach and walk the long way round, for example? And with there being 47 other players on the server, you never really know when you're going to run into a hostile group of players or a PMC. So you, for example, may pick up a certain quest, go to an objective area, and you don't run into any enemy players, purely because the quests that everybody else took led them to different parts of the map. But I, on the other hand, could end up taking that very same quest and then running into multiple PMCs all going for the same objective, and it's simply up to you how you handle these kind of situations. Do you engage them? Do you try to sneak past them without being noticed? Or maybe you even form a truce. I think that's a very interesting idea, and it can lead to a lot of replayability with no 2 sessions playing out quite the same. As most of you guys know, I am a big Battlefield fan, and that's really what attracts me to those games as well. It's that sandbox experience, so I think they might be onto something here. And each of these areas that you see here look pretty amazing, quite honestly. They're using some sort of special technique here called Skalla, which they describe as a cutting-edge technology incorporating authentic natural behaviors derived from true-to-life data. Ever since I watched the raw gameplay, I had no idea how they made the game look this good. The fictitious country that the game is set in is called Lamang, but it's actually based on real-life Laos, which has a lot of rainforest, a lot of greenery, which can be pretty heavy on your system, right? But the draw distance on this game, the extreme distance visibility, is just incredible and unlike any that I've seen from any other game. I don't know what technical wizardry they pulled off to make it run like this, but it's very impressive. Also, the way the foliage moves in the wind or from the downdraft of a helicopter, for example, was something that a lot of people were impressed by, something that a lot of people noticed in the raw gameplay, and I think that Madfinger Games realized that they've got something a bit special here, a bit unique, and so they put together a little video showcase to demonstrate this Skalla technique and how that foliage reacts to the environment, the wind, helicopters, soldiers walking through it, and even weapons being fired. How many times have you played a shooter with a lot of foliage, there's somebody hiding behind a giant shrubbery, no Monty Python reference intended, and they can just shoot you straight through it without any repercussion, without giving away their position? You have no idea where they are except for the sound, but that is obviously not going to happen in this game, not a chance. And the way that the foliage bends and reacts to every single gunshot here, it just looks super cool, man. Now, as I mentioned, there is very little hand-holding in this game. Whenever you pick up a quest, you won't get any on-screen objective markers or map markers or anything like that leading you to your objective. It's up to you to read the quest carefully and then pinpoint the objective for yourself using landmarks, names, and clues. So it might say something like the southernmost building inside of a particular compound, and it's up to you to figure out which one is the southernmost by looking at your map. It's not going to be marked with an objective. And that approach to storytelling is also going to be pretty realistic too. I don't think there's going to be many NPCs with a bunch of dialogue to explain the history of past events, and there are a bunch of past events, but instead it'll be told authentically by you finding remnants of a hasty evacuation, or human remains, or a book, and each of the locations will have its own narrative to discover, and the quests will also tie into all of that. Now, at the center of the map, which I believe is going to be unplayable at the beginning of the early access period, we have a ground zero, and this is some sort of mysterious event that occurred. We don't really know anything about this yet, but this basically happened on the island of Lamang before all of the PMCs arrived there. So if you were wondering what that huge red dot in the middle of the map was, that's what it is. As far as I know, it's going to be inaccessible at the start of the game, and instead you're going to be fighting around all of the outer areas. Another interesting thing is that the further you venture from your base camp, I believe the more dangerous it's going to get, because of course the chance of running into enemy PMCs will likely increase the closer you get to their base camps, but the better the opportunities, the loot, I guess, is going to be there. But I'm going to leave it there for today, guys. Definitely a game to keep an eye on if I were you. It's not long now until they launch into early access. They haven't announced the date yet, but it's only a matter of months, I believe, so definitely worth a wishlist over on Steam. I'll leave a link to that below if you're interested. Let me know if you guys want to see more of Grey Zone Warfare here on the channel, and if you enjoyed the video today, guys, leave a like down below, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Roger, Raven is in the air and heading to Bravo 3. This is Raven, arriving shortly near your position.